Welcome back after the break. Well, Sunil, we're talking about NRIs, and moving on with that, we have actually another interesting story. I really actually like these questions that they put in, newspaper articles. Another interesting question: who wants to be NRI or RNRI?
And what is our NRI?
Well, returned, NRIs.
Okay, and
So,
NRI means non-residents of.
non-residents of India,
It's a
absolutely.
very interesting terminology that has come up. It's a new terminology that has been brought up in last few years.
Right,
And
interesting.
it actually connects from a very interesting movie. If you remember, a few years ago, there was a very nice movie called Swades.
Shah Rukh Khan.
And Shah Rukh Khan, your favorite Shah Rukh Khan was there. And he was shown in the movie working in NASA, full of accomplishments, satisfied. He's got everything that he wanted, but he chooses to go back. His name was Mohan Bhagwa. And he wants to go back to look for his childhood nanny. Now, childhood nanny doesn't mean just the nanny, it is his roots he wants to connect with.
Absolutely.
So that is what you, I think, mean by when you say returned NRIs.
Yes.
You know, Ferry, if you look at today, there was a survey very recently done. 65% of Indians between the age of 18 and 25 said they do not want to go abroad. I mean, just if you take 15 years ago, almost, I would say 1 out of every third person wanted to go abroad, even if for a short stint. But this survey completely denies that. And then it says 60% of youngsters said they were very hopeful about their future as well as the future of the country, despite lack of governance. And what you heard from the Anna story, they think the India is a growing economy, and a surge in industrial output and export in recent years gives them a lot of hope.
Well, I think that's a big change. I mean, even from other sources, we also hear that, people are actually changing their views about, being in abroad, especially youngsters. I mean, they're quite satisfied with, the education, the, lifestyle in India. So
And the job opportunities.
job opportunities, absolutely.
But think from NRI's point of view, they have been constantly giving back. There is this village in Ludhiana, Punjab, is called Sohia. And there are about 100 NRIs from that village from a school, a senior secondary school, what they call their alma mater. And they have taken it up and they have called it a Sohia Overseas Education Society, which is like a Swades story here, and where they want to give back money and material to the society, and they for last 15 years are nurturing this institution. This is their way of giving back. On the other hand, you have other very challenging stories, and you would probably relate to them very easily because they happen to be from the state of Punjab. There are almost 15,000 marriages of NRI grooms and Indian brides that have turned into nightmares.
Absolutely.
And that's mostly from the state of Punjab.
Yep.
And these girls who, in an attraction to get married abroad and probably have riches and whatnot, whatever the dreams are, ran into a lot of trouble here. So the questions are constantly coming. I'm sure people are re-looking at their own decisions, even in Punjab or anywhere for that matter. Should we even look at getting married to an NRI today?
I think people are being more educated about this, and especially I think even media has actually played a big role in this, because it's always news channels and everywhere else, it's being highlighted that these guys actually go to Punjab
Right.
and marry these innocent women and then just come back, leave her there and then just come back, and they never even go back. They get whatever the money and from the
Yeah, what they
the
call
girl's
the
family.
Dahej.
Yeah, dowry, and and they just are actually taking advantage of this thing, that just because they're a citizen, they're gonna show them a dreamland, fantasy land, that one day I'm gonna come back and take you back to New York, or whether it be Canada or whatsoever. And I think one of the main reason from Punjab, it's like people are not that educated.
Which is the point, which you touched earlier.
Yeah.
Now, when you have these cases like where people are growing these schools, which is essentially educating a common man, that is where the
Absolutely.
decision-making capabilities come in. And still, I would say,
I think that's what it's changing. I mean, people are more educated now.
Yeah.
So, they are more aware of, and one more thing, Sunil, talking about education, I think one more reason the kids or, the youngsters from India do not want to come to abroad to study because of all these recent cases that we have in university about immigration raids and stuff.
Right, right. And
You know, going back to it was
the-
recently in
the TVUs, and they call them the fake universities.
Yes, and
I think
especially-
also the racial discrimination that and the attack that happened in Australia continuously
Absolutely,
about
yeah.
the students who had come abroad. So that may be also a trigger point, but realistically, I think it is to do with the hope that a young guy has in India today than they had about 10 or 20 years ago.
Absolutely.
But given anything else, I think NRI dreams have many shades, good or bad, but still it seems that India has something
Which
to
is
offer.
actually positive. I mean, you know, we
Correct.
do actually need some smart people in India as well, I think.
Right.
You know, we don't want everyone running from India to, you know, America. So, which
But-
is good and bad. I mean, you know, we're going to have less, you know, smart people over here because they would rather be in India. So we need, you know, good students everywhere. So, you know, this way we already have a lot of, you know, smart students in America also.
True.
So which is, you know, I think it's a brighter future for India.
Here is a classic case of what you're talking about. Here is Rajan Natarajan, who has been named Deputy Secretary of State in Maryland. This is the first time an Indian in America has been named in Maryland to such a high ranking position. Now Natarajan is not that old, he is in his early 50s and he's born in Padukottai district, Tamil Nadu, and he came only in 1989. He had done his postdoctoral and he came here to do his MBA from Michigan and then became a technological entrepreneur and a businessman. But with the way he has contributed, I think, to the society in Maryland, the governor, Martin O'Malley, chose to make him the Deputy Secretary of State, and his direct responsibilities include public and community outreach events, advising the Secretary on external affairs, planning and strategies, fostering and promotion of international diplomatic relationship. When we say that, it obviously, I think, means India, which is good from our point of view. And the governor says Rajan brings a wealth of corporate business and industry experience to my administration. Think the other day we were just workers, and suddenly they appreciate corporate business and the experience as managers, as entrepreneurs. I think Natarajan has also has a significant experience in technology sector, and when you connect the two, which again the governor says brings a thinking from outside the box, makes it phenomenal. I think hats off to Rajan for what he has done. Absolutely. And the stories continue to grow from one state to another. You have two states where we have governors, and now we have Deputy Secretary of State. I think it's phenomenal growth for us on the 65th, as we celebrate the 65th anniversary of India's independence. Which brings us to the main story of this week. Absolutely. Of the celebration of the Independence Day all over the country. Especially you go anywhere, you go from New Jersey, you had the IBA parade, and now the another Oak Tree Road parade is coming up this Sunday. You go to Houston, you go to Fremont, you go to Chicago, you go to LA, you go to Houston, these parades. And then now this year we have seen a growth of city councils, especially the cities where there is significant Indian population. The mayor celebrated even in the town hall, the city hall, India's Independence Day. We just saw it in West Orange this week alone. And not only that, the beauty is that because of India's economic growth, Consul General of India, Ambassador Prabhu Dayal, celebrated the India's Independence Day. Where else? NASDAQ, the market site at Times Square. I think this happened last year. I think it started last year. This is the second year where top community persons were called in and the ambassador rang the bell at the NASDAQ. It's such a phenomenal growth, such a phenomenal recognition. While we connect with the India's Independence Day celebration, I think it is real acknowledgement, and the next generation, you are aware of this bright girl, Riti Bala.
Yeah.
Riti Sunshine, as they call her, I don't know where Sunshine came from, but I can attach it to her work. Absolutely. She is really shining. Since the age of 13 years, this girl from Long Island has been doing this annual taping. You can name anybody. The top of the top authorities have come. Hillary Clinton, John Kerry, John McCain, Dr. Abdul Kalam Azad, you name this year, you have the governor of Connecticut, you had this senator from New Jersey, you had the 2 congressmen from New Jersey. It's unbelievable what Riti has been doing. And you know, you look at what she says here, one of the missions behind her annual celebrations is to educate the Indian American youth about the history of India's freedom struggle.
Thing which is great. I mean, this girl is so young and doing so much for Indian community. You know, I mean, I think she's an inspiration for many other young, you know, youngsters out there.
And this year's focus is youth.
Right.
And the person, the young man who served the country, gave his life. Sometimes I feel we tend to forget him while we think of the bigger ones, the Sardar Patels and the Nehrus and the Mahatma Gandhis of the world, or Subhash Chandra Bose. Shahid Bhagat Singh. At the age, I think 21 or 22, he had a choice to live, but he gave up his life.
Right.
Just to get India her independence, just to make his point with his friends. He is this time the focus of Riti's special, and is so beautifully received that even the Governor Nikki Haley, who appeared on the show, and she says she is so proud in being a part of Indian American community because the highest educated makes the most income per capita and continues to be the least dependent on any government assistance.
Right.
You think about the Nassau County Executive Ed Mangano, who unfurled the India tricolor. He has his own praise for Riti. And as I told you, the governor of Connecticut declared 15 August as the India Day.
Right.
Everywhere this good story continues to reverberate. I think this show has done so good for the youth and also inspired the leaders who have been here in the forefront, but hopefully to bring their focus back into the mainstream, just not to do the social events. All these celebrations mean a lot for us, our community, all over the world.
And we also have a lot of Independence Day parade. We recently had one in New Jersey.
Yeah, as I was mentioning to you earlier. Yeah, we had.
And Sunil, it was like, you know, I feel so proud. I mean, even though the weather was so bad, but still, I mean, we had so many people over there. So that tells you, I mean, you know, people actually still are so patriotic about India.
It continues to grow though.
Yeah,
and they were all chanting national anthem.
Yeah. Moving on to our next story, Sunil, the Batman of Bollywood, Gulshan Grover, has stepped in Hollywood now. First Bollywood, then he went to Punjabi movies, and now Hollywood. What a journey.
Ferry, let me correct you. Gulshan has been in the forefront into the Hollywood movies for almost last 15 years.
Right.
But this, certainly, the movie that you're talking about, Desperate
He's
Endeavors.
Not a bad man in this movie,
no,
actually.
It's such a big shift for him, and he was in the studios. We talked to Gulshan, and we talked to the director, producer, and we also talked to the executive producer.
I think that interests me the most. I mean, Gulshan Grover is not going to play the negative role in this movie. He's actually playing the role of Dada Bhagwan, who is, you know, I think a character from Gujarati community, who's, you know, the god of Gujarati community.
He is a spiritual leader from Gujarat. He's not to be considered just a Gujarati or Indian. He does not profess any religion. He does not promote any religion. He just talks about spiritualism.
Okay.
And that's why he's become so popular, and how in this movie he shows his impact, his influence, changes the life of a person. I think it's actually inspired by the personal experience of the executive producer, Mr. Jayant Patel. Like I said, they were in the studio, and we have a good portion of that interview which we can bring it to our viewers here.
We have with us Batman Gulshan Grover, Salim Khasa, and Jayant Patel. And we were discussing about the movie Desperate Endeavors.
My motto in my work has been work is worship, number one. Number two, I must do everything to the best of my ability.
Right.
Like I played Dada Bhagwan to the best of my ability with tremendous amount of sincerity. And when you do something with sincerity and you do it with a pure heart, it translates. I'm very sure it will translate. I am nominated for Best Actor at New York City Film Festival for playing Dada Bhagwan. And the trailer that I sent out to hundreds of my friends in India and in Hollywood, and they're saying, "Oh my God, this has got such tremendous energy. This is so beautiful. This is so inspiring."
To truly really capture the spirits and the life, the power, the strength and the power of Dada Bhagwan and his teaching, it was tremendous energy and amount of time and research was done by Gulshan Grover.
Right.
Really,
Gulshanji, you know, the way he said, of course, anyone from India and watching Hindi movies knows who Gulshan Grover is. Gulshanji, your career started, you have seen the struggling days. You have struggled, and coming from Delhi, you came to Bombay, struggled, went back, came back. Now, you became a bad man of Bollywood, good man of Bollywood. You are going, representing now the Indian cinema on the international stage also. Can you say something about this journey?
Well, I can say that with the blessings, good wishes of my fans, of people that I've encountered, I've been able to do some brilliant work, some very nice work, and I've had the great fortune of acting in Indian films, acting in films outside of India. I've also had the great fortune of, I mean, like, you know, loosely people say, you know, that I specialize in playing villains or bad man, you know. But the thing is, when you get a challenge thrown at yourself of playing, you know, Dada Bhagwan, or even in my film I Am Kalam,
Right.
you know, for which, I mean, both the films I am a good man, you know. And in fact, this is the goodest man, Dada Bhagwan, you know.
Yeah.
And it has been a fantastic journey. It has been truly, you know, a fulfilling journey, and there is a lot to do. There is still, you know, too much, actually, to do and achieve.
Of course, there is a lot to tell about Dada Bhagwan, but
Yes.
I feel great about this project, and I am very happy that this got completed, and people of the world will benefit a lot by knowing about Dada Bhagwan. And Dada Bhagwan is a Jnani Purush, and the main thing that he wanted to say, what is the purpose of being born as a human? What is the purpose of human life?
Ferry, that was a wonderful interview. You just, you know, we showed it to our audience from the three gentlemen who were in the show. Now with us, we have Mr. D.G. Parekh, as he's called, Dheeraj Parekh, who's been here for last 41 years and very, very close follower of Dada Bhagwan. DG, you are online. Dada Bhagwan, as he's known as, on one side you call him Dada, on the other side you call him Bhagwan. Neither is Dada nor Bhagwan. But as we have learnt about him, or you have learnt about him, tell us, who is Dada Bhagwan?
Dada Bhagwan is not a name of any person. Dada Bhagwan is the name given to the pure soul. In Hindu religion, we call Atma. In English, we call it pure soul. In Islam, we call it Ruh. Different people have given different names to pure soul. Here, Dada, through these circumstances, this name just came out. And the name of the pure soul in this Dada Bhagwan group is called Dada Bhagwan. The person who you are seeing, say in the movie as a Dada Bhagwan, you are seeing is A.M. Patel, Ambalal Muljibai Patel. But the pure soul which was awakened, which liberated him, in actuality in 1958, when he was 50 years old, the pure soul which awakened is known as Dada Bhagwan. So Dada Bhagwan is not the name of the person, it is just another name to describe pure soul.
Very interesting. What does a Dada Bhagwan mean to a common man?
Basically, Dada Bhagwan means that this whole world where we get confused is that wherever we have gone, we usually find ambiguities in all our questions. Whenever you ask any question to any philosopher, psychiatrist, religious people, our sastras, there is always an ambiguity. And I am one of those people who always found ambiguity everywhere. When I got the non-ambiguous answers to my questions, in other words, there was absolutely no controversy. It is almost like 2 + 2 = 4, which means it's a science, it's a mathematics. 2 + 2 = 4. Everywhere else what happens is that 2 + 2 = 5 - 1 + 3 - 3. In the end,
True.
they come to 4.
Yeah. So what you're
Here
saying
it is
is,
a direct.
So what you're saying is Dada Bhagwan is essentially a symbol of bringing clarity, removing confusions, removing ambiguity, and giving you the hope to move forward in the right direction. Is
Well,
right?
it is not actually hope, because in science there is no hope. In science it is fact. It's
True,
a factual
true.
based.
Yeah, true.
It is a factual based science of the Atma, or what we call spiritual science. The word behind spiritual science came for a reason, but we started misusing the definition of science. We started calling it spiritual science, but we never explained the science behind it. And this is the first time in my lifetime I have come across a real science, which
Good.
is explained as a science, a factual science, which you can either mathematically prove it, or you can scientifically prove it, or you can logically prove it. It is all based on the facts,
Well,
not on some make-believe.
That's very well said, DG, but now we have another way to prove it or show it or demonstrate or connect with the common man through this beautiful movie that Mr. Jayant Patel has executive produced, and we have Salim Kausa, the producer director, and we have Gulshan Grover, the bad man, as Dada Bhagwan in Desperate Endeavors, which is opening for the first time in New York today in the NYIF festival. Thank you, DG. We'll touch base with you.
Can I make one quick comment?
Yes, please.
Hello to Gulshan Grover. Mr. Gulshan Grover, you are not a bad man, because you also acted in my another movie called Bhavandar as a good man.
Oh,
And the second time you have played as a good role in Dada Bhagwan. In
So-
Bhavandar you played a good role trying to protect that Bhavri Devi.
that's wonderful.
So,
Now we almost forgot about it. But thank you for the good work. Thank you for your time, DG. We
Okay.
sign off on you.
all right.
So Ferry, that was DG Parekh. He's been a very close disciple of Dada Bhagwan, and we wanted to end on this note of what we call Dada Bhagwan. It's not a name of an individual. His actual name, the person's name was Ambalal Patel, and this was a terminology given to him, or a name given to him, which means facts, logic, science, proven ways of life.
Right. Actually, we did have a lot of interesting stories that we had discussed today. And Sunil, it is now time to say goodbye to our viewers. Well, that's it for this week on Eye on South Asia. We'll see you again next week. Same channel, same day, with more stories and events of South Asian community. Till then, take care, goodbye, and keep smiling. This is me, Ferry Bhatt, signing off.
This is Sunil Hali, and you can also watch Eye on South Asia on YouTube anywhere, anytime in the world. Have a good weekend.
boys are coming.